I'm pleased to see so many people at this event as we take the opportunity to mark our links to Europe and, crucially, the continuation of those European links, regardless of changes in political circumstances around us. You'll have seen, I hope, the communication that went out from me to the whole university community this morning. I don't intend to repeat the content of that right now. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, please read it. Instead, I want to reflect briefly on some personal and institutional links with the EU and with Europe more broadly. So my personal links to the EU go back almost over my whole lifetime. The UK joined the European Economic Community, as it then was, in the 1970s. And my first public political act, it was quite a small act, was to write a letter as a mere child to the local newspaper in support of EEC membership and of a successful outcome in the 1975 referendum for the UK to remain a member of the EEC. So I think I made a tiny difference to our initial membership of what was a community and then became a union. And since I've been back in Aberdeen, the question I get asked most frequently is, what is the difference between Aberdeen now, in the last couple of years since I've been back here again, and the city and the university it was when I was growing up here? And the answer to that is quite simple. It's the wonderful Europeanization of both the city and the university. The population of Aberdeen is 17% EU. That's higher than any other Scottish city. I feel really pleased and proud about that. And similarly, the university has 25% of its academic staff from the EU, and almost 30% of our undergraduate home and EU students combined are from the EU. And that's a higher percentage than any other Scottish university. This is a Northern European university. Now, those of you who've looked at my email this morning will see that I recognize that we have multiple identities here. There are people with attachments to being Aberdonian and Scottish and British and EU and global. And it's absolutely right that we respect all of those. But we also need to recognize that since its foundation, the University of Aberdeen has been European. We were founded on the model of the great European universities of the time in 1495 in Paris and Bologna. And our European links flourished for hundreds of years before the existence of the EU. And I'm determined that that will continue after today. Who knows what will happen in future, if and when we may be back in the EU, but regardless of that, we will continue to be a European university with strong links to our European partners. And just to help that a little, to reinforce the links, we've set aside a research fund of £100,000 to strengthen the existing links and to establish new links. There'll be further details about that coming out from Marion Campbell in the next few weeks. So that's just a small way in which we're signaling our intention and our aspiration and our commitment to remain a European university. So thank you for being here to mark this event, to celebrate with me the history and the future of our European links. We're going to turn to a Q&A session in a little while, but for now I'd like to invite Ruth Taylor to make some remarks about this topic. Ruth.
Hello everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ruth Taylor. I'm the new-ish VP for Education. I've been here for about 3 months so far. So I also am really pleased to be here to say a few words in celebration of our European connections. I'm going to focus probably rather obviously on some of our education connections. And I think really what I want to say is that we are absolutely determined to maintain and strengthen those links despite the fact of today. So as you will know, our current European links will not stop today. They're not going to stop overnight. But we are working across the university really hard to sustain those successful partnerships that we have. And there are a number of successful partnerships, some of which are illustrated behind me. We're particularly interested in the reciprocal arrangements that we have and anticipate and hope that those will continue. I think it must go without saying, I hope it goes without saying, that we greatly value our staff and our students, all of our staff and our students, but today is particularly about our EU staff and students. I want to comment on the international flavour that our students and our staff from the EU bring to this campus. It really is quite astonishing. I've worked elsewhere and I haven't worked in a more international feeling environment, and it really is really warming to be around that. So some of you will know about the formal links and partnerships that we have. Our Erasmus programme, for example, that's the EU flagship programme around education. It's around training, it's around support, etc. And I'm just checking my numbers here, but we have around 200 to 250 of our students taking part in an international experience through that programme. And we have around 250 to 300 incoming students, which again, are really fantastic numbers and brings all sorts of benefits to our campus. As you'll know, staff mobility is part of that too. And we have staff who go off for teaching visits, for training visits, and again, bring back all sorts of important things to our campus that really enhances the vibrancy of where we work. I think I'd just like to highlight the ripple effect of that, though. It's not just about those 750 people, those 750 individuals. It's about what they bring back and what they contribute across the campus when they're here with us, and to our students beyond our campus, because of course we have campuses elsewhere. So in the short term, we are absolutely going to continue to nurture and grow our reciprocal arrangements and partnerships, lobby for involvement and engagement as we go forward. It is uncertain territory, but I think the comments that are coming out from Scottish Government demonstrate the commitment that the government has to our one nation and the EU. I do believe that our EU connections will continue to grow and flourish despite the situation today. I know that we will continue to offer international experiences to our students, and I was around the campus this morning and in our international office chatting to people in there, trying to find out a little bit more about what we do, and there is a vibrant international opportunities through study abroad and other opportunities, and you know, that will continue, and we've got people here today who can talk to us about that in the help desks at the back. I'd also like to echo George's remarks about how we celebrate the university's European identity. We absolutely must continue to recognise, appreciate and understand those identities and the differences and what they bring to our university. We are an inclusive university. We will continue to live up to our foundational purpose of being open to all and dedicated to the pursuit of truth in the service of others. It's really profound and links in, as you know, to our Aberdeen 2040 mission. Finally, I'd like to highlight that another key part of this afternoon isn't just about George and me and the questions and answers. It is about the people who are here today who will be able to respond to and provide details around some of the issues that you may have. And there are some help desks at the back there. Erasmus, human resources, student support, research, etc. We have had a number of pop-up events across the university. I know that they've been really useful, welcomed by our staff and students. And I just say, engage with those, continue to ask questions, continue to make sure that you have the information that you require, and we'll do everything that we can to support that. So thank you for listening to me. And now I think we have a couple of roving mics to support the Q&A. Should we hold on to this one?